about moving forward and savoring the journey. Now, I think listening to my talk may be like holding your horses for a waltz, right? I may be right or may not be. Greetings to everyone gathered here. This is YAZHINI, a 9th grader from KRMPublicSchool, Chennai, India, here to present a TED talk on Reflect to Perfect. We all like to go to school, right, if I am not wrong. When we go to class and sit, and the first period is mathematics. When the teacher enters out of the blue and says, I am going to call some numbers and that student should answer, what would be the response? If suddenly somebody is asked to talk on some topic, what would be our situation? These are all simple challenges, right? Yes, I agree because I too have experienced that. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam once said, to become unique, the challenge is to fight the hardest battle which no one can imagine until you reach your destination. We face obstacles and we overcome them when we explore new things. Exploration gives us the sense that everything is possible. It leads to knowledge, understanding, and the courage to face challenges. We explore and learn something new every day. Like when we get a new gadget, it will be new to us. And our parents will also start advising us to be careful with it. But at a point, when we start exploring the applications in that gadget and when we start using the apps, it will become a friendly one for us. And on the other side, our parents will start struggling to separate their children from those gadgets, right? It happens in my house too. So like that, can we explore our future? The answer may be yes or no. My answer is yes. We can explore our future. We are surrounded by people who ask us about our ambition as if they are going to decide our future. When our elders ask us about our ambition, what do I want to be? We will start questioning ourselves what our talent is. This situation will become the real challenge in our life. I faced these kinds of circumstances every year. When I was in my 4th grade, my teacher asked me what my ambition was and I told doctor. By stages, it changed in many ways like astronaut, engineer, scientist and so on, as if every time there will be an updation in technologies, right? The same way I used to update my ambition too. I had a confusion but still wanted to find my identity and talent to discover my ambition. Yes, and started to explore them. Dear all, for all of us, we have to learn and achieve something to go to the next stage, like for a baby, crawling, for a kid to utter the first word, for a student to enrich their speaking skills and ideas. Every stage is a milestone. Yes, I too was not exceptional. One such which I faced was my first presentation in my 5th grade. Just think, you are asked to do something which you don't know how to do. What would be our state? Yes, I too was caught in such a state when I was given an opportunity at a computer science expo. They asked me to do a presentation on the topic 6th sense technology. For a moment, it was all Greek to me. And I thought, how am I going to complete this task? But my teacher motivated me by saying, you can do it. That moment I thought, instead of doing a presentation, it would be better if I was asked to participate in an eating competition. But unfortunately, there was no choice. So I went to my home and started reading a resource on 6th sense technology, which was sent by my teacher that evening. Oh no, it was like noodles, no start and no end. I cried to my father that evening when he returned home. He suggested me to read few books related to my topic. Do you all know one thing? Hey, come on. I haven't told anything still now, and how come you know that? Now listen. My father and I often have agreements. He will do what I say, and I will also do whatever he says. So by accepting his agreement, I went to my school library on the next day, and I started to read a book on technologies. The time was correctly 9. I read the first page, second page, third page, fourth page, fifth. Don't worry, I won't go until 100th page. I ended up at 20th page because I didn't have that much patience to sit and read that book. And the time was 11. Totally 2 hours went off. But I felt like that my mind was still caught in maze. So I took the book home. I ate with the book, slept with the book, walked with the book. For what? For just understanding the content. Finally, somehow prepared my presentation. By God's grace, my educator appreciated me for my work. The whole day, I was on cloud 9 and was really contented. For a 5th grader, doing a presentation is a challenge, though it may be an easier one. Now, as an adolescent, I have a beautiful family, friends to communicate, and a school to enrich my knowledge. But I feel like knowing my identity as an unanswered question for me to make my perspective right. But what about people who are facing hardships to meet their basic needs in their daily life? Problems comes in various ways in people's life. We do have people in our family who are facing hardships, and we have seen how they overcome it. Here, I would like to share few lines about my cousin. She lost her father while she was doing her undergraduation in genetics. But she never gave up. In her life, exploring led her to success. Therefore, remember, life is never a piece of cake. People face different challenges. It may be a lesson for us to learn our ability and an opportunity for us to explore ourselves. Just reflect and take it on. So now, let me put all these things into a single nutshell. When the going gets tough, put one foot in front of the other and just keep going. I get inspired by few personalities like Beno Zafine, the first 100% visually challenged IFS officer of our country. Muniba Mazari is an Iron Lady of Pakistan in spite of being confined to a wheelchair since 2007 due to a tragic accident. Richard Branson, who was a slow bloomer in his childhood, but he became the 4th richest person in the world. Maison Zayed was born with cerebral palsy, but she became one of the America's first women Muslim comedians. These people faced lots of hardships in their lives, and that's the reason still the world praised them. Not only them, everybody faces hardships, right? And that's why I term life as Ben life. What is this Ben life? This name somewhat seems to be strange, right? So now let's get into that. See my screen. You can see a delicious dish over there. The name given to the dish is Ben life, and the name somewhat seems to be strange, right? So before exploring its reason, first, let's find out the original name of the dish. Any guesses? Correct, Bel Puri, which is an Indian snack. It will be crunchy, crispy, spicy and so on, and it is also a mixture of many ingredients like onions, tomatoes and so on. If you mix them all together, it will be so tasty. Similarly, life is also like that. Bel Puri is a mixture of many ingredients, whereas life is a mixture of many emotions and feelings. Taste it all together with courage. You will be happy. So now, put your life in that Bel Puri. It will become Ben life. So now let's come back. After seeing these personalities, I had a question in me. Do ambition keep changing for all. For this, I did a survey and I sent it to a group of people. In that, 57% of people said, yes, it did change for them. The remaining said their ambition was constant. For another question, I asked, is talent important to find our ambition? More than 70% agreed talent is important. So by this, it was proved that ambition keeps changing for all, and finding our talents plays an extensive role to discover our ambition is a correct one. Let me share few facts with you all which all of you would agree. For a tiger, it is a challenge to be more ferocious, and then only we will all consider it as a tiger, right? A tree becomes worth when it lives long. A forest becomes worth when it is protected. An individual becomes worth when he achieves, right? When I talk about these, I couldn't resist sharing this story with you all, which all of you would have faced too. One day, my mother gave me a sweet box filled with laddus as snacks for me to my school. I thought, if I take these laddus, only one laddu will remain for me to eat. So smartly, I just kept those laddus in a secret place at my home. So the whole day at my school, I was eagerly waiting to eat those laddus. When I returned from school, I was tempted to eat those laddus. So I opened that box and was disappointed because over those laddus, there were many ants. I thought that I should eat, but ants ate. I thought that I am so smart, but ants were so smart. So I learned that life is like where sometimes we might lose too. Even my mother don't know where did I kept those laddus. But these ants found the places of those laddus, that too without even using a Google map. Unlike us, who order the food and waste time in tracking the delivery man. But see these ants. For Mr. Ant, gathering the food is an important task for its survival. And that's the reason they are known as the smartest species, and they are the unknown achievers. From this, I learned everybody has a challenge in their life. It is not about their appearance, it is all about their potential that they have in them. Sometimes we won't have hope whether our work is a perfect one or not. For that, I have a magical sentence, that is, focus on your effort, not in your result. Every human being in this world becomes perfect only when they take up challenges. I always want to be unique, and for that I start carving my identity and talent to achieve my ambition. And these can be achieved by a 3-sentenced formula. Our ambition can be decided when we know our identity. Our identity can be seen when we overcome challenges. To overcome challenges, we should explore them. And these 3 sentences are my formula for the term perfect. A challenge can bring a change within us, and that change can be felt when we grab opportunities. Yes, I too felt a change when I wrote my first poem. In my 6th grade, I learned that I can write poems, which was a challenge for me. I became a young poet, so now you can see my first poem on the title, If I Am a Poet, on my screen. Though many of my questions are answered, but still I feel like many are unanswered. Why in some areas it rains heavily and in some places it do not, which was not before? Why did glaciers melted recently? Why have streams and ponds reduced? Why do the groundwater level goes down? Why is there a climatic change? Why did all these happen? Aren't these challenges we have in common? Was it a sudden change or an emerging change? What might be the reason behind these climatic changes, or what can be a solution which can take a strong action against these climate changes? We people will see the quality of gold dresses, accessories and so on. But have we ever thought of the quality of air on such a beautiful earth? Isn't this high time for all of us to think? I thought that my future challenge is to contribute something for climate action. So earlier there were beautiful backyards and a well behind each houses. So there was also a common well for a village. But nowadays it has been reduced, right? So how can it be replaced? Having a well and a backyard nowadays is an impossible task. So what can be an alternative to that? Yes, we started developing terrace garden in our houses as a team. Recently, we grew few plants and vegetables and we got few veggies like tomatoes, chilies, greens and so on. When we grow plants and trees, it will balance the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Adding to this, I with my friends have also planned for vermicomposting, which is a process in which worms are used to convert the organic-like material into a humus-like substance, and which also maintains an ecological balance and is the best supplement of fertilizers. So without no other hesitations, we started collecting the waste fruits and vegetable peels to convert it into a menu. Plastic waste can be recycled and it can also be replaced with cotton and jute bags. Everybody who live in this earth, isn't our responsibility to contribute something for climate action? When we get something from nature, isn't that our duty to give it back to nature, including me? I would like to share a fact with you all. The pollution rate was high all over the world. But during this lockdown, the pollution rate have reduced. So it says that whether it may be a climatic change or an ambition change, it is all within us. And it also taught us a strong value, that is, nature is an effective teacher. When you reflect to make yourself perfect, you will know who you are. I learned from my mother that talents can be learned only we explore. The three ways by which I can prove the statement reflect to perfect is by using my 3C. Grab chances, take up the challenges and accept the changes. Let me conclude my talk by saying my favorite lines from my poem. Ready to make you perfect in choosing your future, and get ready to make yourself ready for a bright nurture. Though I accomplished all my small challenges by exploring them, still I am a small caterpillar who is waiting to become a colorful butterfly. Now it's your turn to think what your challenges are and start exploring. Thank you.